Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast, Project Investigation Collaboration, brought to you by the Veritas Project. And as always, we are here with our gracious host, Robert Curtis, founder of the Veritas Project.
Hello.
And I am lead investigator Todd Boyer, and welcome everybody. I am so excited today.
Yeah.
Today, we think we figured it out mathematically that legitimately today could be the 1-year anniversary of our first recording of the podcast. Because he used to put the podcast out on Tuesdays, we'd record on Sunday.
Yep.
And our first video was actually out on October 1st, that it actually hit YouTube. So that means that we recorded it on the Sunday prior to October 1st, and that would be today.
Yep.
So, happy anniversary to us.
Happy
Go us.
1-year anniversary of the podcast.
1-year anniversary.
It's about 20-something years of the Veritas Project.
Yep. But happy anniversary of the podcast.
There you go.
So what we're going to do today is we are basically going to go back through a year in review, basically.
Right.
And discuss and maybe talk about some updates on some of the stuff that we talked about over the course of the year. And just basically have an open discussion today. Nothing on the boards. And
the history of the channel and how we've evolved over time and the future, and kind of give you an update on what I've been dealing with in the background of the legal issues that we have with this channel. So
I'm sporting the gear, guys. Don't forget the link to the Teespring is here if you want some merch.
Yeah, you can buy the stuff. Represent.
You know, there's about anything you can want out there. There's tank tops, t-shirts, mugs,
cups, keychains,
everything,
stickers,
even phone cases.
Yeah, I have a phone case.
So anything you want, Veritas Project, we got it.
Yeah, we got all of it.
So anything you guys want. So let's start with the history of the Veritas Project. And I'll let you start that.
Of the actual
where it all started.
Okay. When I was in the military, my whole life I've been interested in paranormal. Like I'm just like a sponge for paranormal stuff. And when I was in the military, I started noticing there was these shows on the History Channel that were about like most haunted houses and paranormal events and stuff. And I noticed that in that area, there's a lot of those things that happen there. So then I started on my weekends or free time, I would go out to these different places and do, investigations, and see what these real haunted locations were about. And from calling, you used to have to call people. You couldn't email back in the day because a lot of people didn't have computers. Mm-hmm. Back in I'm talking about like 94, 95, around that region. So I came up with the name, the Veritas Project, because I thought it sounded really cool, like the truth. I want to find the truth of these things. So I'd see a show on TV and be like, well, I want to find out. I want to really look at it for myself and see what goes on there, So I wanted something I could tell people who I was that wasn't just like, hi, I'm some guy that wants to come and nose around in your yard.
Right.
So that's where I came up with that name, because I want to find the truth, seek the truth of the thing. And it seemed that to me that people were more receptive to that. Like if you called and you said, hi, I'm so-and-so from the Veritas Project. I want to come and look at your UFO landing site, or I want to look at your ghost in your shed or whatever. But if you call them up and be like, I'm just some guy, they're like, nah, we'll pass.
Right,
what I mean?
right.
So that's where the name came from. And I started using it back then as more of like an umbrella for my friends and I to have something to say, like, hey, we're a part of this group, and we want to come do, an investigation. And then we kind of inferred that we were with the government, because we are, we're all in the military. So it became like a thing where people were like, come on in. We want you guys to come and investigate our stuff, like the Vallecito Stage Stop and the Whaley House and stuff like that from San Diego, the Red Room and things that were haunted in that area. We were invited to come out and see it because of the name. So that's why I kept that name all these years, because it was something that was near and dear to me. And then in '99, a Christian author made a book of young adult a young adult series of books called where the group in the book was called the Veritas Project, and they kind of loosely worked for the government. They're kind of like Scooby-Doo, you know. And I was kind of like, well, that's weak, man, because that's mine. You know, I came up with that,
Right.
but it was just a couple of people, so I didn't really, you know, think too much of it. And then fast forward, you know, in the mid 2000s, James O'Keefe came out with Project Veritas to try to do political hit pieces, you know, to get traction on the YouTube. And a lot of people started confusing me with him because of the similarity of the names.
Right.
So my little, you know, HTML-based website that I had for decades went from like 300 hits to like 30,000 hits in like the space of a month. And I started getting messages from my hosting place, because it was just like a mom and pop server thing,
right,
you know, in England that was hosting my thing. But I went with them because it was like $15 a year for web hosting from this little server in a computer repair shop in England. And he was mad at me. He sent me this long thing. He's like, if you're going to start a business and get online, then you're going to have to buy more space and more bandwidth, because you're making my server sweat. It's like, it's so hot. It's so hot now I had to buy another fan for my server. And I was like, I don't know what you're even talking about. And I looked at it, and I had like 100 and something thousand views on my webpage. I'm like, I haven't even posted any content in like months. I don't know where this is coming from. So then I was just happening to be watching the news, and I saw the logo pop up, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
that's why people they're typing it in wrong. And because my website is older than his, then it goes to mine first, even though mine is a tiny little HTML based, which is still there if you want to check it out. You know, the Veritas Project, I think that one's the .net.
Really?
The org is the new one. The .net is the old one. It's still there if you want to see what my HTML handmade website looked like from 15 years ago. That's what it looked like. But then, yeah, we kind of... Am
I frozen or are you frozen? We're having issues.
Mine's fine. It's your connection.
My connection's being pissy.
But I when I moved back to St. Louis, then I kind of just went with the flow of paranormal stuff around here, just kind of went from one group to another, never really did our own thing, and then we joined the St. Louis paranormal group and kind of did that for a couple years, and
that's where we met.
Right. And then we just kind of separated from them and kind of did nothing for a while, and then
me too.
I got a Facebook message for Todd's birthday party, and I was like, hey, let's go to Todd's birthday party, that'll be fun. And then while we were there, I was like, hey, let's get the band back together and start the podcast up. So
here we are. We're
doing the podcast. Somewhere in there we did a radio show too.
Yeah, we did when we were with St. Louis Paranormal.
Yeah, we did.
It was before podcasts were podcasts.
Yeah.
It was, you guys, some of you guys heard the story before, but it was an internet radio show.
Yeah.
Like if you went to this one webpage, they played music all day, and then they would have talk shows and stuff throughout the day. And we did, was it bi-weekly, I think?
I think
we did like every other week, every other Tuesday or something like that. We'd do an hour. And the guy was like, you guys can go as long as you want. I know one night we went like 2 or 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
So, but so that's where, and then like Bob said, he's like, yeah, let's get back into this. And, we
wanted to make it like an educational thing for a time so that we could have all of our,
oh, Jesus. I didn't see that.
What happened?
Robin sent you a gift. I didn't see it. That's funny.
That's nice.
Yeah, Robin took the picture and sent it to me, so that's funny. You'll have to go back and cut that as a short.
If you want to know all of the conspiracy stuff that I'm into, you know that Elvis didn't die.
Yeah.
In 1977, he actually is still alive.
Yep.
His name is Bob Joyce, and he's a pastor.
I've discussed this. Robin and I have talked about this.
Yeah. I recently watched a documentary on the YouTube where a retired CIA analyst who it was his job in the CIA to match up shapes of people, and then he puts a skeleton, a wireframe skeleton inside of it, and then compares other videos, and it is 99.999% accurate.
Wow.
He caught a video of Bob Joyce walking across the stage and then wireframed that onto Elvis in concert walking across the stage, and the gait and the way he's carrying the guitar is 100% accurate.
Wow.
It is that
yeah,
that's Elvis.
I saw another one that was what's her name? JonBenet Ramsey and Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And they matched up the little freckles and moles.
Oh, really?
On both of them, and pointed out 6 different freckles.
Huh.
And they're like,
wow.
How odd is that?
That's
but yeah.
Well, yeah.
So I called Bob and said, Bob said, let's get the band back together at my birthday. And then a week or two later, I said, well, let's do this. I said, you say you want to do this, let's do this.
And I was like, we don't have anywhere to record it.
And
so I was like, well, we'll make space in the basement.
Yep.
And because I have this table down here with my 3D printers set up on it. So we cleared off the 3D printers and put the computer up here, and then we used the soundboard to record audio at first.
And Bob's trying to get it in the...
Hello.
Yeah, we started with 2 microphones and no camera.
Yeah.
So if you go back and look at the first couple of videos, we started with the alien attacks in Peru.
Right.
Which that resurfaced again this summer.
Yep.
And people were going back on it. We're like, we did that a year ago.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
It hit the mainstream news this summer.
Yeah.
Like CNN was covering it. Do you think that there were aliens in Peru?
Yep.
Bro, a year ago.
Yeah, a year ago when we were talking about it. Yeah. So then we did Ghost for a couple episodes.
Yep.
Which that's our bread and butter. We always go back to Ghost. And then episode 4 happened.
Right.
Episode 4, we went to the Cahokia Mounds, and we went out, we had a camera, and we found out that, hey, the camera actually has good picture and good audio.
Yeah.
So we decided, because the soundboard that I bought had a hum in it.
Yeah.
And had I thought about it, we could have used your hum note off of the
guitar
pedal and used it. But,
well,
hindsight's 2020. But... So we decided, hey, we're going to start using this camera, which also what happened with the Cahokia Mounds footage is the first time we went out to Cahokia Mounds, it was so windy that all the audio was trash.
Here's that camera.
Yep, there's the camera that we originally used.
It has
he went out and got the fuzzies after the fact.
Yeah.
So
it sounds fantastic.
It sounds good when the wind's not blowing. It sounds really good.
Like you said,
and it has a good picture.
It's got this gigantic lens on it, so it does a lot of really cool stuff.
Yep. But so we went out and we re-recorded all the video. It was the next day or something.
Yeah.
We had to go back.
Yeah.
Because we looked at the video and recorded some more stuff and played some of our new music that Bob had just got a hold of.
So instead of having the wind buffeting, I layered it with music, so you had the audio and then you had the music over the top of it.
So then we got that out there. So that was our first video, and from then on we had video. And then we talked about the history of Halloween.
Yep.
And we went into different burials from around the world.
Right.
We talked about some of the crazy ones up on the cliff sides and things like that. And then we talked cryptids.
Yep.
Now, I was never a big cryptid person. Until this past summer.
Yeah.
When I saw something. We'll just call it that. I'm not saying I saw Bigfoot. I saw something. And it was absolutely nuts. Because I literally stood there and stared at the spot that I saw it for 3 or 4 minutes going, what the hell did I just see?
Right.
What did I just see? And I ended up making a video about it. But, so yeah, I just saw something. We'll just go there. So now I'm a little more of a believer in the cryptids. So from there we did some more ghosty stuff, and then about that time we're coming into Christmas. So we got into talked about Krampus and
Krampus and Yule
and
Christmas ghosts.
Yeah, talk about the ghost, Christmas ghosts, like in what the hell is it? What the hell is the name of the book with Cratchit and all that?
No, Charles Dickens.
Yeah, Charles
Christmas
Dickens'
Story.
Christmas Story. There you go.
Yeah.
So we talked ghosts for a bit, and we actually one of our top videos happened about there. It was about 9 months ago. It was the top 20 questions about ghosts, and that got almost 8,000 views for that one. So that was a good one for us.
Yeah.
And then we talked about Yule, and then we went into superstitions and haunted art.
Yeah. The haunted art blew up. That was one of our first ones to get like 9,000 views.
Yeah, that got 9,000 views. So that was a good one. And then we went into different types of UFOs. Then we talked about famous hauntings, which we had somebody come back and talk to us. Actually, that was later. That was the Route 51. That was a different one. So then, right shortly after that, we got validated.
Yeah.
Haunted person syndrome. And we still are bringing you haunted person syndrome to this day. So, haunted person syndrome came out and said that if you talk about hauntings and things like that, you are actually passing along the ability to see hauntings.
Right, it's viral.
It's viral to the person you're talking to because it changes their energy and opens them up to the possibility.
Right.
And then they see stuff. And that if you see a ghost once in your life, you're more likely to see more.
Yeah, exactly.
Seeing one is rare. Yeah. Just one. You tend to see more as you go along. So, and then the funny thing is the cure for haunted person syndrome is actually religion.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. And this is all documented study. 7 months ago, that one actually got 6,000 views.
Yeah.
So that was another good one we put out there. And it's amazing what,
Yeah.
that we did a whole podcast just on haunted person syndrome.
Because we were vindicated.
Because we were vindicated. Yeah. You were like, yay!
There's a lot of people sometimes that are like, well, I ain't never seen no ghost. I don't believe in any of that stupid stuff.
Right.
And then I'm like, well, you will when you do.
Yeah.
Right? When your brain makes that connection that the creaky floor or the door opening is a spirit, then now the floodgates are open for you to see that as a thing, because your mind usually tunes that out if you're not open to it. Right.
And that's the funny thing is, like, I've had people say, oh, I don't believe in that. And I tell them, I've seen too much to not.
Yeah.
I've seen way too many things happen to not believe in it.
And I always ruin people. I'll tell them, go onto Netflix and search for A Haunting TV show. There's
watch
like
that for a while.
9 seasons of it. And just blow through like a couple hours of it and watch what happens. Because when you're entertained and you're open to that television show, then it'll start. Like it's like the gateway for having ghosts in your house.
Goblin says he keeps seeing his old cat running out the door. And he's happy about it because his cat's not around anymore. He says he misses her and he accepts it and he enjoys it. So that was from the TikTok live for you guys on the YouTube live and the video. So So from there we went to objects being haunted.
Right.
And then we went through putting together a ghost bag for under $100.
Yeah.
Which, if you guys want to get into the paranormal, go back and check out that video. It is a great video for if you want to get started and put together a ghost bag for under $100. It's a fantastic video. Mm-hmm. Definitely get you in the door to doing your own investigations. So then we did Who Was the Highway 50 Phantom?
Yeah.
Which you even recently got somebody commented on it, saying that they live in the area.
From that area commented and was.
They were like, "Wow, this is great."
They were giving us kudos about how thorough we were in our video, and I was like, "That makes me feel good," because that's something that that's one of the things that I like about doing our investigations, is going down the rabbit hole to the nth degree and then presenting the facts of it.
Right.
So that, not like the Travel Channel or whatever, where they tell you the sensational parts to try to get your eyeballs on the show. I want to show
We're about the science.
the actual evidence and the science of it, and then once you've nailed down every possible scientific and logical outcome, what you're left with has to be paranormal, right? It has to be. So that's why in that investigation we laid out every possible fact that there was. I read the police reports. I called the sheriff, and he gave me the PDF of the actual report, of the accident report, and I talked to him for a little while, and we went through every possible outcome of it, and at the end we determined that it had to have been the little boy. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a spirit. It was the little boy was laying on the side of the road. The couple saw him, and then in their minds, that split second that they saw it, they thought it was a naked woman. Mm-hmm. They called the fire department, they called the police, emergency services, they went out, and then they found the boy in the car. But in the end, it wasn't a phantom, it was a natural thing.
Right.
But it was a good thing because the people saw
the
him,
boy and saved
then
him.
they saved his life, because he would have passed away too had they waited a little bit longer.
So from there, we did frequency,
right?
Which is a really good one, and that one, I don't know if you guys out there, frequency is coming up in everything now.
Yeah.
People are finally realizing that frequency is key to everything.
Resonance and frequency, and because the waves are nothing if they don't actually interact with something. Mm-hmm. So that's why the resonance is a part of it, because if the wave is hitting plywood or if it's hitting steel, it has a different effect.
Right.
So that's why I included resonance and frequency.
Right. So then we had our first live investigation.
Yeah.
On TikTok, and we went out and investigated Bob's family farmhouse, mm-hmm. and it was very active, and it was a great investigation. And that was the first time. We've actually investigated that place 3 times now. Mm-hmm. So, and we probably need to investigate it again. We need to make that short and get it out there.
Yeah, that was one of my things I wanted to do today.
So, then we did another 20 more questions about paranormal. Then we talked about who built the pyramids. So, I don't know if you've seen recently, but they did another scan on the pyramids, mm-hmm. and they're finding plasma balls, like big balls of plasma energy at the top of the pyramid. Okay. Like it's producing plasma energy at the top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
So maybe Tesla was right, and this was some kind of energy device. I know there's stories about father and son went into the pyramids and did resonant frequencies inside what they consider to be the crypt box.
Yeah.
Which the crypt box is the exact size and shape of the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
To fit into. And the guy was sick, and after they did the frequency, he was better. He was healed. So that's kind of one that's kind of come up. Then we talked about ancient societies.
Right.
Right? And how they just kind of vanished. And we actually included the Cahokia...
right, the Cahokia Indians.
Yep, the Missouri River people, whatever they're called. Yeah. So... that, and then we went on to Bermuda Triangle, yep. and then we turned around and investigated the farmhouse again.
Yep.
Which, because it was so active the first time. So, but that time it wasn't quite as active.
Yeah, it was more.
It was mellow. Yeah, like it used up a lot of its energy. So then we went on to. That was right around the time of the eclipse.
Yeah,
happened right then, and then. Then we had a rabbit hole episode. We talked about the eclipse, and just whatever our brains came to that day is where we went. And then we went on to the different types of aliens, which is another good one. That one got over 3,000 views. Yeah. And then we went on to, are we living in the Matrix? So,
which is the one, the Matrix episode is the one that most people stop me and talk about.
oh really?
Like people that I know that listen to the podcast, like of all our podcasts, the one that everyone always has like face-to-face questions about is the Matrix one. They're always like, well, what about this and this, you know? And
Right.
I'm always excited to talk about it because that's one of my favorite, you know, conspiracy theories is that we're a part of a logic, part of a machine.
Right.
You know, not an actual physical being. You're a part of an AI basically universe.
So from there, we went on to why are people going missing in national forests?
Yeah.
Which we caught flack from.
Yeah.
There's some comments that are like, you know,
yeah.
the people were unhappy about that podcast.
They didn't
appreciate it.
The people missing in the national forest thing is a polarizing thing because you have two camps of people that are both on the fringe of a topic, and the people in the middle aren't vocal about it.
Right.
So you get warring factions back and forth because you have cryptid people, you have UFO people, you have government conspiracy people, you have everything you can think of going on in these national forests. And our thing is, no one is investigating it.
Right.
So, like, people go missing in the forest. They organize, you know, a search party, and then for like 3 or 4 days, they go out and look. And then for a couple weeks after that, they'll fly a drone around and look, and then they just give up. Mm-hmm. And then these people are left like, well, what happened to our daughter? You know, what happened to our son? Where'd
they go?
And the government's like, yeah, we got, you know, other stuff we're doing now.
Yeah.
So you're just out of luck.
So then we went back to the farmhouse again. The re-investigation of the farmhouse is it's called. But once again, active place. Mm-hmm. You know, even though it wasn't as active, it was still active.
Yeah.
So then we went on to Antarctica from there. And then went to Military Ghost, and then we did the Lizzie Borden, which you guys had vacation at the Lizzie Borden.
Right, we actually went there.
And got to actually look at it.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I talk about a lot in our investigations is that when people... You can read a book and look at a podcast or watch a documentary, but until you're actually in the location, like yourself, and you can see like how many steps you would have to take to sneak up on somebody with a hatchet, or how much you would have to swing, how much room there would be to swing a hatchet, you know, and how fast you would have to go up and down the stairs, what the stairs sound like when you walk on them, like. A lot of that plays into it, and then it'll alter your perception of an event. Right. Because you think it's impossible.
You perceive it in your mind that it happened this way, but then when you get there and you see where the actual layout and everything.
And the thing about the Lizzie Borden house, which I recommend you go stay there if you have the opportunity, is they have all of the original stuff from the house that they've either found an analog, you know, like the same exact bed frame, or they have the actual bed frame that's in the house, and the couch and other things that are exact pieces from that era. Right. So when you go there, you can actually see, you know, the couch in the place where the couch was. Right. And look at it with your own eyes, and then you can see, okay, so if that person had to have been standing around the corner, and then like the hairs on the back of your neck raise up because you're like, I'm standing on the same boards that the person that killed this person stood on. Like, I'm looking around the same exact door frame. Like, this wood right here is the same wood that the person that murdered this guy had their face next to before they did it.
Right. And then to move on to our next subject and stay right in that pocket right there, we talked about the Lemp Mansion, where you can go out and stand on the same boards and be in the same room that, you know, the Lemps unalive themselves and like see the floorboards and stay in their actual rooms, you know. And Bob and I have given tons of tours out of the Lemp when we belong to the other group. Bob did it the first time. I was actually with the St. Louis Paranormal twice. Yeah. So Bob gave tours the first time. I gave tours the second time. But And then when everybody came to town, we got to go through that. But that's further down the road. Yeah. We're going to keep going. Project Stargate. That was our next one. So remote viewing, which here recently we've seen videos about, and you sent me a video about how the new telescope has spotted spacecraft on the way to Earth.
Yep.
And it's making course corrections on its way to Earth. Now, it's not supposed to get here for like 5 years or something like that?
13 years or something.
Oh, 13 years? I thought it was 2030.
They're traveling at the speed of light.
And just under the speed of light, yeah.
So, but in the next couple days, the Earth's going to pick up a moon.
Right.
And the Oumuamua asteroid that flew through our galaxy years ago, it course corrected and then flew by the Earth and then went to the sun and used the sun to slingshot again and then came back by the Earth and then course corrected its way out of our galaxy.
Huh.
And then now this new rock is coming to be a moon of ours
for in the next, a week.
Yeah, in the next few days.
Yeah.
Which could be, in my opinion, is a recon element for the invasion fleet that's on its way in the next, 13 to 16 years.
So the reason I brought that up is because they've had people try to remote view into the future, and they don't see anything past 2034.
Right.
They cannot get anything past 2034, remote viewers. It's nothing.
Right.
There's nothing there. So, welcome to the end of the world.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, the Oumuamua asteroid that flew through was the, beacon probe or whatever.
Right.
And then it set off the alarm in the alien culture. And then they, at that point, fired the moon
the scout ship
that is just now getting to Earth, and it's going to survey the planet to be a precursor for the invasion fleet or the whatever
it is. The colonization fleet or whatever.
It could be emissaries or whatever.
Who knows? Maybe we're part of their race.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Like their planet failed and they just went out to try to find someone else. Right. And then now, let's say Earth...
Maybe we were a colonization unit.
Earth grew up, right? And then the catastrophic mud flood event was going to happen.
Right.
So the humans left the Earth to go colonize another star system. And then, just happens for nostalgia, they sent a probe back to see what Earth looks like now. And they found people here, which is completely impossible, right? Because the mud flood was supposed to erase everything on the planet. So now they're on their way back to be like, hey, our old friends, we've been living in this other galaxy for the last, hundreds of thousands of years.
Welcome to the conspiracy theory.
Well, you've been here, and we're going to take you back to our
who knows,
our world, net.
So, after that, we discussed the Winchester House, which is an amazing, amazing place. Go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I recommend you go down and look that thing up, and there's even walkthroughs that you can do out there. The VR walkthroughs and stuff. It's fantastic. Go really check it out. Totally, totally worth it. So then... Bouvet Island, which we were kind of on the cutting edge of that too.
Right.
Like that's suddenly become a big thing is Bouvet Island, and we were 3 months ahead of the curve on that one too. It's amazing how we're ahead of the curve on this stuff, and then all of a sudden it pops up really hardcore.
It took us a while to come up with a script for that one because we didn't know what way we wanted to go with that.
We kind of covered everything.
Yeah.
We just talked about everything.
Because there was... The conspiracy theory of it is that there's either an alien craft that's crashed there and it has some sort of anti-gravity malfunction that's causing storms to just explode when they go over the island, or the government has some sort of device on that island that is making storms. And
it's a small island. Yeah, it's not that big.
Right. You could walk across it probably in a day and a half.
But if you look at the weather patterns that happen over it, literally a tiny little storm will hit Bouvet Island, and it turn into this It's so weird looking. It's like a cone.
Yeah.
Like the storm spread out like huge right after they hit Bouvet Island.
Right.
Like they get massive.
And
they make weird waves.
Right.
And like it's like, yeah, it's crazy.
The sea surface buoys measure it there, and you'll see it be like red and yellow, and then it hits Bouvet Island and it's black going off of Bouvet Island because the waves are like 80 foot high.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. Go down that rabbit hole too. That's a really good one to check out.
And for us, like we'll say something, like, well, how is this happening? And if your response from the media and the government is that you're just a crazy conspiracy theorist person, and that you're just out of control, you're just a maniac, then 99% of the time we're like, well, that's something.
Yeah.
Right? Because if the government was like, well, I don't know either, let's go look at it, then we would be like,
but they're like, oh, it's nothing.
Yeah, but they're like, you're an idiot, you're a conspiracy theorist. Then we're like,
okay, what's behind the curtain, buddy?
What's going on over there? Like, why are you so angry? Like, we're not angry. Then why are you so? What is all this? Where's all this hate coming from?
Right.
Then you're on the target. Right.
Yes.
It's like they used to say in World War II. Like, if you're flying a bomber, you only get flak when you're over the target.
Yep.
Right. So that's the same thing in conspiracy theories. When you're throwing out conspiracy theories and the government's like, yeah, whatever. But when they're like, you're a hateful, racist conspiracy theorist, you're like,
you're in the right spot now.
Now we're in the right.
Now we're
room.
pushing buttons. So after Bouvet Island, we had an outside investigation.
Yep.
We went to the New Athens Historical Society. And that was, I feel that we had too many people there that entered, for the small place. But we did have a really cool orb, literally amongst us, 8 people.
Yeah.
8, 9 people, whatever was there. We had this orb the size of a cantaloupe. And it just sat in the middle of the room and moved back and forth. It was just hanging out with us there in the room.
You could take the EMF meter right through it, and it would peak and then trail off, so you knew exactly where it was.
Yep. And it was just hanging out in the middle of the room. So, and then, but that was a pretty good investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Then
had a good time there.
Yep. And then we had the lizard people conspiracy,
which that raised a lot of. That caused a lot of hackles to get raised in our community, because there's the lizard people thing. It's a extreme polarizing event, because people are either like, yeah, that makes sense, or they're like, you're an idiot.
Yep.
Like there's no middle in that one. And I used to be, because I grew up in the generation where V was on television.
Right.
And
yes.
So in the back of my mind, it's still a little silly to think that there's lizard people. But at the same time, when you look at the evidence, you're like, there could be lizard people.
There could be lizard people. Yep. Go
Is
watch Roddy Piper and They Live.
Right.
Go watch that movie. I know we've beat this horse so many times.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen that movie, I'm telling you, it is one you have to see. Robin, I know you probably haven't seen it, so you need to go watch that one.
I was thinking that we should do like a series, like a side thing where we have like a movie night on TikTok.
Oh, that'd be great. But can we get away with that, though, with copyrights and all that kind of stuff?
If we're watching it.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? Like, it's a disc that I own, and I own like 3 copies of it.
Right.
So I have the Criterion Steelbook of They Live. We could do the front back camera thing.
Yeah.
And then have us just sit and we'll watch it together.
Right.
And then that way we can comment on, like, this is real right here. This is 100% real. And then you can, so that way we can have you guys on board with us, so that you'll know what we're all on the same page talking about these things, because we can watch the movie together and then discuss it.
So then Bob went on vacation.
Yep.
And he went to Henderson Castle and did a little live from Henderson Castle and caught some nifty stuff. And then the whole Yellowstone happened.
Right.
The little popping of the cork at Yellowstone. So we talked about supervolcanoes. And we talked about what would happen if supervolcanoes went off and all that fun stuff. And then we talked about the Fae and fairy circles.
Right, that was a good video too.
That was a good one. It should have got more views than it did. That's all I'm saying. But
yeah.
So
look at the reincarnation video that we did. We talked about giants.
Yeah, we talked about giants. And then we talked about reincarnation.
And that one's got 18 views.
Yeah, 18 views on the reincarnation video. So.
And in that one, I had videos where the little kid was talking about how they remember their past life.
Yeah.
So I had 2 different children in that video talking about how they remembered their past life, and they discussed events from their past lives that no one would have known had they not lived it.
Right. And then we also talked about that little girl that the mom shows the picture of the little girl picture. She's like, I believe that my daughter is my grandma. And she goes, that's me, and touches her hair and stuff. It's kind of wild. I know a few of you guys out there have seen that one. So then we had our meet and greet.
Yep.
So we had a lot of our TikTok people came out and had a meet and greet at the Lemp Mansion. Bob and I rented every room in the Lemp Mansion, and you guys paid us back for it, the ones that visited, and we had a good time.
That was great.
We had a good investigation, 3 hours worth of spirit box. And so I know there's been a few people that have gone out and looked at it. I've had a few people, in fact, I talked to my stylist, cut my hair yesterday. She said she watched about the first 40 minutes of it. So, and she said, she was like, I need to go back and watch the rest of it. So, and then we touched on crop circles.
Right.
And then multiverse, and then we went on to, we went and kind of recapped the Lemp Mansion and talked about all the stories that happened there while we were there for the investigation. And then we just did, last week we did Mandela Effects.
Right, the Mandela Effect.
And that is a year in review. Happy anniversary to us. So there it is, a year of the Veritas project, and at some point in there, I don't even know at which point, I dropped my logo and became the lead investigator for the Veritas project. So technically, it's no longer a project investigation collaboration. It is more of just a project investigation now.
Yep.
So, but so now we're under one roof, and then you said you wanted to discuss some of the legal stuff. When you first started. So this is what we're into right now. So I'll let you.
There's a radio station, and it's an internet radio station like we were talking about, and they are called Veritas Radio. And recently, they started a YouTube channel called Project Veritas, or the Veritas Project, and they have what?
90, 100,000.
100,000 followers. They have like 20 videos. Each one of their videos gets like 80,000 views. Their videos are awful, so I can put that out there. Their videos are terrible. But they get a lot of traction. And I went to YouTube and said, hey, these people are using my logo. My not the logo. Not the logo, the
They're
name. Using my name for my channel. And I can't have the Veritas Project as the title for my YouTube channel because they have it, but I own the trademark to the Veritas Project. So we're going back and forth because YouTube doesn't want to take down their channel because they have more followers and their videos get more views.
Right.
Because they get revenue from that.
Yeah.
Right. Where our channel is smaller, but I did all the homework and got the trademark for it. Like these people are just using my trademark, but it cost me like probably $3,000 to get it trademarked. It's $1,400 to have a lawyer take a piece of paper and hand it to the government for you. And then the fees on top of that are around $800. So you figure all in, it's about probably three grand. And then they just woke up one day and decided they're going to make the Veritas Project YouTube channel and didn't trademark anything.
Right.
So they're using my copyright, my trademark in their videos. And in order for me to hire my lawyer, I talked to the lawyer yesterday, or the day before yesterday, about actually filing a suit. $14,000 is what they want. $14,000.
So we're hoping that we can have the lawyer drop a cease and desist order, pass that on to Google/YouTube to pass on to them.
Right. And
we're hoping that is the cheap way out and see what happens.
Still not, though. That's going to cost like $800.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Right. So, yeah, so that's where we're at, because it anytime you have to get a lawyer involved, it costs a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And my lawyer's view is that it only costs us money up front, because if they force us to go to court over it, then they're going to sue for damages.
Right.
And they're basically going to bankrupt that company, because that's how they make their money.
Right.
So they're going to sue them for whatever they're worth, and then give me back my, $14,000.
Right.
But
maybe plus some.
Yeah. But I mean, if it has to come to that, then, I don't know what we'll do, because I don't have $14,000.
Yeah, exactly. So, yep. So that's where we're at right now. We're still trying to grow. We had cards made.
Yep.
We had cards made. But the cards are obsolete.
Right. Because
within 2 weeks the cards are obsolete.
I had a meeting with Google, and two Google, the SEO person and the advert person were on a conference call with me a week ago, and we went through the our SEO or search engine optimization, and found that one of the problems we're having with the channel is that it was under my old YouTube name. It was Rosso GTA, and that affects the searches.
Right.
So we went in and changed the name of the YouTube channel to the Real Veritas Project.
Yep.
So that would help
the algorithm.
In the future, it's going to help the algorithm
direct
it better. Yeah. So we had a barcode made on our cards, and that barcode is useless now, because
so here's the cards.
It goes to a channel that don't exist.
Right. And we also had to change it because of this font here. I'm going to show it up there now too. So as you can see down there, it's gray. That's not supposed to be gray. That's supposed to be white.
Right.
But it filled in, because it's such small print, that it filled in my information. And then we have the QR code on the back, right?
Yeah, and you can
QR code on the back, and you could scan that, and it would go right to the Veritas Project. But now it doesn't, because changing that to the Real Veritas Project creates a different QR code. So we're going to get new cards made with the new QR code.
Right.
I'm still handing these out and telling people, look, just go to this.
Right,
and getting people to go. So we have these cards, but we're going to have new ones. So,
but as of this week, if you type in the Veritas Project into Google search, or into YouTube search, we're on the first page of results. Finally.
And we used to be like the 6th page.
Yeah, and I told the guys at the meeting, I was like, I show up on the 3rd page of my own search results. So if I put in quotes, the Veritas Project, and search on YouTube, I show up on the 3rd page of search results. So if you set your search results to 50 per page, I show up on the 3rd page of my own search results.
So
that's unbelievable. So now, as of this minute, when you search for the Veritas Project, we're on the 1st page of search results. We're not. The top one is still the radio station who's illegally squatting on my logo or on my name. But right below them is us. So we're at least in the we're in the ballpark now. We're not in the parking lot anymore. At least we're in the stadium now.
Yeah, we're not in a different state anymore, because at that point we were in a different state. We're at least in the parking lot now.
which irritates me, because I jump through all of the legal hoops.
Yes.
To make everything legal and in line with what we're doing. And to have somebody come in and then just, take it over.
And the thing is, like, if they did the Veritas Project and did something totally different, we're not covered.
Right.
But they're doing paranormal, and that's what we cover.
That's my trademark.
The trademark is the Veritas Project with paranormal content.
Right.
And that's where they're messing up.
Right.
So that's where we can...
They're called Veritas Radio, right? That's their radio station's name. So they could just do that. This is the Veritas Radio Podcast. Right. They could just do that. But they had to put Project in there, which irritates me, because the reason why I picked Project was because I hated at the time, back in the late 90s, every paranormal group was a society.
Yeah. Yep.
And it just irritated me
Because
to
of
no
taps.
end.
Because of taps.
Because
like everybody followed taps.
And there's so much infighting in the paranormal business. This is the backstabbingest group of people you've ever been in anything associated with. Like if you were in a convention of paranormal investigators, you could just wear a steel plate on your back and you would be perfectly safe, because there's no one stabs you in the front in this business. It is nothing but backbiting. And so I didn't like that at all. They're not a society. They're not friendly. They're all backbiters. So I wanted to have. We're a project.
Right.
We're not a society.
Well, also, too, like, that's part of why that you and I don't normally publicly discuss. We don't publicly discuss any details about what we did in the past.
Right.
Because we're not like that. We don't want to hash stuff up. Now, don't get me wrong. There was issues in the group, and that's why we left.
Right, right.
But we're not going to discuss it. That's not...
Right. It doesn't
matter.
It doesn't do anybody a service by rehashing old...
Right, and that's
stuff.
Like something I made a comment about the other night is... Life is like driving a car. You've got a big windshield in front of you and a tiny little rear view mirror that you're just supposed to check every once in a while.
Right, exactly.
You know, you're not supposed to dwell on that crap. You move on because the world is in front of you.
Exactly.
So we don't rehash that stuff. So is there anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to add for our year in review?
I don't think so. I think we're pretty much up to speed now.
So,
but the future, I guess we could go.
Yeah.
The future for this channel is we're going to relocate to a new studio. We're going to redo the lighting over there, and we're going to have a physical bookcase behind us instead of the library. So that'll be a big change. I don't know.
Well, we'll probably go back to microphones again.
Yeah.
Because we're going to start using, now that we have the camera that we originally purchased, which that's like from 4 to about 10.
Yeah.
We rotated cameras and microphones and this and that, and we all went back and forth, different stuff. So once we get set up over there, this camera that Bob bought, and it's a really nice camera. You got it, open box or something like that?
Yeah, it was the Razer Keo Pro.
And it's a fantastic camera. And it actually shoots high quality video. Like, if you watch the lives on YouTube that we're like currently doing right now, we're currently live on YouTube right now, you can like see individual hairs.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sure there's like some dust on my shirt that you can see
see on that camera. That camera is fantastic, and we can play it through a soundboard. So we'll have microphones, and it'll actually be clearer sounding, crisper picture, and we're going to go back to that, we think.
Right. Plus, it's just cool to see.
It's cool to see the microphone in the picture. You know, all up in the frame or whatnot.
Right.
So, you know, we'll be going back to that. Also, with that camera, we can have it do everything at once. We're still fighting with TikTok to get a key.
TikTok doesn't want to give us
They don't want to give us a key because we don't have enough subscribers.
Yeah.
We need to get a Facebook key.
Right.
And then, then that camera... Oh, we got to verify.
Speaking of...
Oh, come on.
Oh, you missed it. Too much energy drinks.
Yeah, there we go. So we had to verify. So that camera and the software that we use behind the scenes on that will actually record, and it will put us out on all 3 platforms at the same time.
All at the same time, yeah.
So we'll be able to stream 3 platforms live as we record.
Right. And you can choose your favorite one and comment.
Yep,
live,
we can watch the comments live on all
comments.
Yep.
So you can comment on Facebook, you can comment on YouTube, you can comment on TikTok, and we can read all of them in real time.
Yep. And Bob just actually bought, you want to pick that up?
Oh, this thing is so heavy.
So Bob actually just bought this giant mount. And what this does is it holds 2 monitors side by side, and we'll be able to mount that and
where I put the camera mount.
Yeah, we have dual monitors now, but then also there's a mount that we're going to have on top of that has multiple spots to hold cameras, so we can have multiple cameras up top if we need to.
Right.
But we're hoping everything will work out and we'll be able to use that Razor.
Yeah, the Keo Pro is super nice.
Yep. So there we are. The future. And we need to get some look into getting another investigation. If not, investigate the farmhouse again.
Farmhouse again, yeah.
Speaking of, let us discuss what you showed me last week after the podcast.
Yeah, there is. I don't even know how to, like a squid-shaped orb. It looks to me like a squid, like if you were in the ocean and filmed a squid or not a jellyfish. That's exactly what it looks like. It's hanging out in the hallway, and then it dips under the door frame, goes by the dresser, and then kind of floats up to the camera.
And why do we have that video?
Because I moved the camera from the bedroom into the guest room, and it's sitting on a paint bucket in the guest room looking right at the hallway. And once again, it said person detected, not motion detected.
So you can see there's a few frames before it actually kicks into the video, because it does still frames.
Yeah.
And as we looked at it, we saw it come, like the video kicks in when it's forming in the bedroom.
Right.
But if you go back and do a frame by frame, you can see it come out of the hallway into the bedroom, form, right?
Yep.
And then fly back up and then like dissipate here, but then you can see the light still go back into the hallway.
Right.
So it comes in, shows itself, and goes right back out. It is wild video. Bob's going to make a short of it.
Yeah, and actually
and put it out there.
Two nights ago, a orb comes out of like the mirror of the dresser and goes up into the camera, like right above the camera.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a
wild.
perfect orb too. So I'll put that in there too if I can find it.
So yeah, we need to go out and reinvestigate again.
Yeah.
So it's getting active up in there. So we'll pick a date to do that and get on with more things. And, hey, send us a comment. Tell us what you guys want to talk about. We can go back to Ghost. We haven't done Ghost in quite some time besides the lamp. I as we were going through, I noticed we haven't talked Ghost. But absolutely, if you guys think of anything that you want us to talk about us, put it in the comments. Send us a TikTok, send us an email, all that stuff. All our emails are at the end of the video. Don't forget to check out all the Easter eggs that Bob puts at the end. We want to thank our continued support from our Patreon members. Thank you guys. All 5 of you. So become a Patreon member. We'll send you guys a postcard. Bob makes custom postcards.
Yeah,
and
every month there's a postcard.
And every month we'll send you a postcard. And check us out on all the other social medias, obviously TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Everything is R.S. Curtis and the Real Veritas Project for Bob, and I'm Investigator Todd on everything. And definitely check us out. Is there anything else you could think of? Any comments, shout outs, or anything you want to give to anybody?
No, not right now. I mean, you guys know I appreciate you.
Yep. Angie, thank you for letting us do this in your basement. I know you're probably watching up there. So, but thank you guys again for your continued support. We really do appreciate you guys. And remember,
stay curious
and find the truth. And here's to another year, and we'll catch you guys next time.